to stand up for wrestling. I am here to give the fans a voice.
If you're not watching the promotion right now, you're missing out on something I think that could possibly shape the future of wrestling, and I mean this wholeheartedly, for the next 5 to 10 years.
Nobody can touch me. Nobody is better than Adam Cole.
This company is still existing, yet they have to do this at the 11th hour to make sure that they run these tapings. I thought TNA was going to be different, and I guess not.
This is truly the Kevin Owens Show.
Pentagon Jr. is the wind beneath my wing. The only thing that we get at 10 for sure, maybe at 11, is Ken Shamrock showing up.
The gamer audience is one of the most diverse audiences in the world, and the WWE audience kind of matches up with that. You know, WWE audience is very diverse, so you have to give people, what they want, and also what they need. And so we hit them with some rock, we hit them with some pop, we even hit them with some classics, and even hit them with some electronica. But the WWE knew to come get the best, which is me, to team up with them. And, even some artists called me up once they found out I was a part of it. This is a very prestigious thing. And so, French Montana, one of the artists on the label, he said, don't leave me out of this one. This one is big. Like, I grew up with the WWE. We've all grown up with the WWE.
Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling to the max.
And your hosts, Gary Vaughn, Sean Garmer, and Paul Deezer.
Welcome, everybody, to Wrestling to the Max, episode 207, part 1. And here we are once again for a great episode for you guys. We got lots of news topics to jump into. WWE's always in flux. Guess what? We've got a guy that we all love getting released. We also have a guy I'm not sure we all love, but we'll talk about him and his release. Plus, we're going to get into some other great topics because, trust me, plenty of wrestling news for you guys, including, some other topics where we may be a little bit more controversial than others. So you don't want to miss a minute of our quick hits today. Plus, we are getting into Ring of Honor. That's right. Ring of Honor had another big show leading up to their Vegas pay-per-view. You don't want to miss our talk about that. Trust me, very interesting stuff in Ring of Honor this week. So we've got a full show for you guys. We don't want you to miss a minute of it. And just to let you guys know, of course, we always do a review for both Raw and SmackDown. So if you are listening to this and you're like, well, guys, talk Raw. Come on, I want to hear it. Well, guess what? We have a special show for that. Go check it out. You want to go check it out somewhere? It's easy. W2M Network. That's easy as gold. Go find it. And of course, if you're already a part of that, we appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who's been supporting us. You guys are doing awesome. And we, once again, we try to make everything available for you easy as possible. We want to make sure that you guys have a great listening experience. We love doing this, but we just want to make it easier for you. That's why we kind of do these things a little bit separated. And of course, we'll be doing part 2 next Thursday night live on Spreaker.com for a lot of you. I know you listen on the download, so that'll be available Friday morning for all of you listening. So there's a little housekeeping news for you guys. Of course, I'm your host, Gary Vaughn, and I am here with our co-host and a guy that, let's be honest, takes time out of his schedule to do this show. I know he's doing great in the male modeling industry, but Paul, it's great to have you here tonight.
Clearly, it's only because of my hair is the only reason why I'm doing so great in the male modeling business. Tyler Breeze better watch out.
That's right. You got to do the face, the whole Zoolander face, So that's great. And of course, our other co-host and producer of W2M, Mr. Sean Garmer. What's going on, man?
What's going on, guys? Just, getting ready for the road ahead.
You're telling me.
What a long road it's been, Sean. Jesus. We're, so much is happening this month, and it's ridiculous.
Yes. I love the G1 and everything, but it's close to being over, and it's one less thing we got to do.
Yeah.
You guys love the G1, and I can understand why. But on the other hand, I mean, I know you guys are like, yes, it's almost done. Oh, thank God. Even though you love it, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's that weird saying, I guess, that pain is pleasure and pleasure is pain, and never been more true for the G1.
Yeah, I mean, it's a grind for the wrestlers, and it's a grind for people like us and anybody else that, in whatever way you review the shows, if you do it on a regular basis, man, it's just having to sit there and make sure you watch them, watch all the matches, and then having to come on and talk about it or write about it that's a lot.
Yeah, man. I've not been taking part of that just because I have a lot of things going on right now in my personal life. Just family and things have been involved. But you guys have done a great job covering the G1 Climax. And anyone who follows the G1, you need to go find the shows that these two guys are doing. They're doing W2M extras every week, so you guys get every review of all the different G1 Climax shows that are out. So you don't want to miss them. You guys are doing one, I believe, following SmackDown Live. Y'all will be doing the SmackDown Live review show, and then I think you're doing the G1 Climax, right?
That's the plan.
Right.
All right. So there you go, people.
And then they'll be having a show on Wednesday, and then they go straight through 3 shows, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then they're done on Sunday.
Wow.
And then, we're not done because then that next week, we're all just going to die with Raw, SmackDown, NXT TakeOver, ROH's pay-per-view the day before, and then SummerSlam and Super J-Cup. I mean, just a regular old week there, guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think this is like WrestleMania weekend. Like, just we're gonna be doing shows constantly,
nonstop. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But you know what? It's a lot of fun to do. It is a lot of work. Let's be honest. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's enjoyable, and we all enjoy doing it. It's just we want to make sure we get enough content out there, and sometimes it is a task. But besides that, I mean, I know you guys are doing a lot of things this summer. Me too. I mean, you guys have definitely had to take a lot of time away from, other events because of the G1. But I finally took some time to watch a movie and a couple movies that I had not watched yet. I want to mention this real quick just to kind of see if you guys have seen them. I finally watched one I've been waiting for forever, and that's watching The Hateful Eight. I wanted to watch that so badly, and I finally watched that. And I also got Cloverfield Lane. 10 Cloverfield Lane is what they call it. So both very interesting for me. I mean, I thought 10 Cloverfield Lane was okay. Not a bad movie. Just, kind of average. And I thought for a Tarantino type movie, I thought that The Hateful Eight was good too. A little slow at times, but I thought it was good. So I guess I wasn't blown out of the water. Have you guys seen those movies?
I want to see Hateful Eight. It's one of those like you I haven't watched yet, but I really want to see it. I did, however, catch Star Trek Beyond Sunday night after I got off work, which was incredible, and I highly recommend you guys go see it, whether you're into the new Star Trek stuff or not. It's great.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely need to do that because my wife likes those movies, so I'll have to definitely go check them out. Suicide Squad is on the list, though, for sure. That is the one. Got to see.
I'm gonna see it, but I'm dreading it a little.
Oh no. Oh no, I am too because Will Smith's in it, but yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, I used to be such a Will Smith fan, and then it just kind of fell off the map for me a little bit. Sean, anything you're interested in doing in the near future?
I am just interested in. I mean the movie thing. I don't know if I have a movie that I'm just totally pumped for right now. I did play and beat the first episode of the Telltale Batman game yesterday, and that game's actually it's the first episode, but it kind of has you get a little bit of everything with Batman. You get the you get hand-to-hand combat with the QTE stuff that you get from Telltale. You get to play as Bruce Wayne for a little bit, and you also get to play detective in that game as well. So something you probably like, Gary. So
yeah.
In the 2.5 hours, you get a little bit of everything, Batman.
That is awesome. I love it. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be playing that game. I really will because I love the Telltale.
I don't know when it's coming to PS3 and the phones, but it's coming.
Cool. So. That is awesome. I'll definitely be checking that out, and of course, I'm sure a lot of other people are, enjoying it right now. We talked about in Quick Hits last week about the Young Bucks having their own game out, and it was kind of funny because a buddy of mine who listens to the show texted me and said, "Hey, by the way, I just want to let you know, I could be your guy when it comes to playing the game because he actually has an iPhone, and he was telling me that it only costs $2." I love the price, $2 for the Young Bucks, and there's 2 of them. I don't know. That's good.
So too sweet. So.
Yeah, too sweet. I love it. It's great. So I don't know. I just got a kick out of that wildly. I know no one else would. That's just me, my personality. So I was trying to get him to come on the show. I'll maybe eventually and kind of tell us how that game is. I'm sure it's just a beautiful, sweet, I don't know what you would call it. Just super kick party, I guess. But anyway, let's get into some quick hits, guys. Enough jibber jabber. Let's talk some wrestling news. We got lots to get into. We'll be right back with that next.
It's time for wrestling news. Quick hits.
All right. Let's do this. I'm sorry, I can't.
You did not hear my clicks this time.
I did not. I'm trying to be very mindful. We do a video portion of this show now, and the program we use, which is called Call Note, is very sensitive to audio. And if I turn my microphone up or my headset up to the volume that it really needs to be, you guys get a chance to hear audio that's basically echoed. So I turn my headset down just to make sure you guys are comfortable.
See, now you know what I deal with on a everyday basis. I cannot do that either.
So it's a pain, but here we are. Well, let's go ahead and start this thing off by talking about a couple of releases that happened with WWE. We'll talk about one, I guess, that maybe is not such a big news topic, but then again it is. Let's talk about Ryback first. Now, we all know after WrestleMania, Ryback had an interview and basically kind of said that he was very disappointed in his career with WWE and the direction he's going and the fact that his departure would probably not be very far in the future. Well, here it is. It finally is official, people. Ryback is no longer a part of the WWE, and they have basically come out with their own statement saying, thank you for your, all blah, 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 future endeavoring and everything. So we're finally at this point, Paul. Is this such a big deal? What do you see Ryback doing now?
Man, I think this is kind of a big deal. Ryback ultimately should have had on his resume former WWE World Champion, but if it wasn't for The Rock, and all that stuff that happened at the time, who knows? It's somebody who I felt like the WWE wanted to do something big with, and then they just kept having other stuff take over his push, and they never knew what to do with him after that. And I won't say he's a huge star right now. He's not as huge a star as he could have been, but he certainly could be worth something to somebody like a TNA, or he would oddly fit in Lucha Underground very well too. So if he's looking for somebody with TV, those would be the 2 spots I was looking for. And I'm sure, indie work comes easy to former WWE guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just don't see Ryback doing the indies very long. Ryback is a WWE institution guy, and I think once he figures out that that's not a very leisurely thing, it's something he might have to work a little bit hard at, because he's also not a super worker. If he really puts his all into it like Cody Rhodes, I'm sure he would get bookings no problem because he's still a WWE name, but I think TNA might go after him. TNA is sort of trying to get any name they possibly can at this point. And I don't know if he has a no-compete or not. I'm sure he probably does, so there's a 90-day window there. But would not be surprised if TNA tries to throw some money at him. And maybe he takes it because it's a secure thing, and it's a nice schedule. He doesn't have to sit there and do anything he doesn't want to do booking wise, and then TNA would also take care of his booking. So, hey, he goes to an indie show, TNA takes care of it. He doesn't really have to do a whole lot in that area. I mean, Lucha Underground could also possibly work. I guess ROH or New Japan could maybe be. I mean, if they took Camacho, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they take anyone. But I guess that's also possible to sort of replace Moose, to have a big guy there. But I kind of think that'd be more of a longer shot, because there's a lot he'd have to learn style-wise and whatever to kind of fit in with them more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think TNA is just the right spot. I really do, just because of some of the things you just talked about there, Sean. And I wish the 90-day thing was not a problem, because it'd be so awesome to see EC3 walk in and say, "Hey guys, I have someone that Moose needs to meet." It'd be really cool. I think people would be pretty happy to see that. But of course, waiting 90 days, that whole thing is going to have to wait. So, but in the end of the day, still think it's a smart move for TNA if they do find a way over there and get that contract done. Otherwise, I mean, I think any of the other stops wouldn't hurt Ryback at all. I think he'd fit pretty much anywhere. He's just a big guy, and people could use him, and I think he'll be a great asset. But we're also talking about another release here, and this one's kind of interesting because I don't think any of us saw this coming, and this is Joey Styles. Now, a lot of you, people that listen, that, have paid attention to the old ECW days, that was their former ring they basically, announced every ECW show by himself. He was just a solo guy, did a great job doing it, and called all the action in the ring. Now, WWE took him on. ECW's no more. Well, guess what? He had to have a job. They put him in charge of media. So he's been doing their website, doing their mobile stuff for them, and really doing a good job. He's actually vice president in charge of that department. So he's been working hard just behind the scenes. We don't get a chance to see him. Unless it's about ECW, he's not in front of the camera. Saying that, I don't know why he's been released. There's not been any information to where this could be coming from. Now, there are rumors out there that he answered a question on a Q&A on WWE's website that in regards to Roman Reigns and why the people like Roman Reigns, and he said something to the effect of, well, it's just because the women and children. Long story short, maybe that's why. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't see why anybody would be offended by his wording, but in the long run, why do you think WWE did this? And I mean, I'm sure Joey Styles has a place to go because he has a lot of talent, but I just don't know where he fits now.
I don't either, and he was terrific, I think, at his job. Highly, maybe not, the center of attention or anything like that, but he made WWE.com feel very special. His articles that he wrote, I don't know how much he actually webmastered it, but it felt like he was in charge of content for the website, and that's a big deal, especially with how much traffic that place gets. So I don't know where you go from here, Joey, but Godspeed to you, man, because you absolutely deserve all the success you can get.
What do you think, Sean? I mean, this is a guy that, definitely contributed heavily when it comes to, the media for WWE, and he's done a lot of great things, but it just seems like, I don't know, it just seems kind of funny to me they would release a guy like this who's done a lot of great work.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit weird. Maybe it's something just between him and WWE as far as just they mutually agreed. And that's just how it is. That rumor has been sort of reported everywhere, though, so I don't know if that's the thing that's happening or not, but it seems weird. Like, why wouldn't you have just taken him off immediately if that was a big problem? That's what makes me feel like it's not that, because, we saw what happened with Titus O'Neil. We saw what happened other times that somebody's said something they shouldn't say, and they usually get whacked pretty quickly. Not whacked as in they get released necessarily, but they get fined, or we hear about something being done. The fact that this interview happened almost 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and we're just now getting something out of it, just weird. You know.
Mm-hmm. It is very odd, and yeah.
And as Paul noted, I mean, under his watch. I mean, they had stuff about the Cruiserweight Classic. They had all this, those articles sometimes about indie wrestlers and like where some of the that big article with ROH of where some of the WWE's current stars come from and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's some really cool articles that have happened under his watch, and it sort of gave you a reason to go to the website, other than just watching YouTube clips or watching other things. And so, it's gonna suck that he's not there. And he also would sort of drop news on Twitter and stuff like that too. So,
it's just a shame. It really is. And out of all the hard work, maybe there's some things we don't know about. Maybe this was something he asked for. I mean, it has not come out from him. We have no indication on what it could be. This is all speculation, So who knows? I mean, he could have been involved in maybe a sexual harassment thing with Bob Backlund. I mean, that's easy to do. Understand that's difficult. So, just throwing that out there. Hey, speculation. Why not? But anyway, let's talk about something else that's very interesting, and this is also when it comes to being a part of the WWE roster. Shelton Benjamin was advertised a couple of weeks ago on SmackDown Live that he would be joining the WWE SmackDown Live roster. Apparently that's not going to happen now. In fact, he actually came out and announced himself that he would not be joining WWE at this time, that he has a rotator cuff injury, and that is going to keep him out for a while, and so he will sadly not be a part of the roster. This is a big disappointment for me. I was really looking forward to seeing him back in a WWE ring. I don't know about you guys. I was kind of thinking, this could be something very special, and it's nice to have an old face back. But, I mean, I get it. I mean, why even start if you're injured and you need him? Let's be honest, you need a guy at least close to 100% when he's joining a roster. You're going to have him, at full impact when he needs to be, involved in all these different shows. You can't have him going half-paced, joining your roster. So I understand why he's doing it, but on the other hand, very disappointed. Are you, Paul?
I was very much looking forward to seeing Shelton Benjamin back in the WWE. I think a lot of people everywhere were looking forward to it. I don't want to speak for a majority of the WWE's audience, but guys like us, and or guys and girls like us, I shouldn't just be so explicit there. We're looking forward to seeing him back, and it's kind of a disappointment in the fact that Shelton, he's a good wrestler, but he is 41, and at that same time, you really got to start taking care of yourself. As you get older, and especially with how much impact and the style he's been working over, and Noah and everything, and safety first, and then you can come back. And it sounds like the WWE still wants him around. So safe than sorry, I think, is the better way to go here.
Yeah, this is not. This sucks. It looks like it happened on a WWE medical. Basically, WWE probably had talked to him. Probably thought that he was okay. He thought he was okay, and then he does WWE medical tests, and they find this torn rotator cuff. So he thanked WWE's medical team for finding it, and now he's going to be out. Anywhere from 4 to 6 months to possibly longer.
Yeah,
and that really sucks for SmackDown. It was a guy they'd announced coming soon and everything, and maybe this teaches WWE you need to make sure they pass that medical before you announce anybody on actually TV. But hey, supposedly Roderick Strong has passed his medicals, so at least you lose one, you gain one.
Whew. That's almost an upgrade if you ask me.
Yeah. So, that's awesome for, Roderick Strong. And, I look at Shelton Benjamin as a guy, it's nostalgic. You get excited about it. And I don't blame them for announcing it too early, only because, as they're trying to keep up with the Joneses, and I mean the Joneses being the IWC and all the other different media outlets. And when it comes to the world of wrestling, they're all posting the news topics and the big news hits that are out there. And so when it comes to that, WWE wants to be the first to announce their own stuff. We're noticing that more and more. They'll, if kayfabe or not, they're going to announce it that way that you don't get to be the first to do it. And so that's just another thing. They wanted to make sure they threw out Shelton Benjamin. Sure, other places already announced it, but I think they wanted to make it a big impact and do it on their own show. Probably did it too prematurely because of what we have and what we're talking about now. But at the end of the day, I kind of feel bad for him, and I felt bad for Shelton Benjamin because I think he really was looking forward to coming back. So he'll have his opportunity. This isn't the end of the road. He'll have his opportunity. It's just going to take a little longer than we wanted. So, but we're happy to have Roderick Strong. Let's be honest. I'm happy, very happy with that. Well, something that's very interesting that happened this past week was a big time UFC fighter, Connor McGregor, actually said some things about WB that were not so pleasant. And it wasn't just about WB, it really was just about the wrestlers themselves. Conor McGregor came out and basically said that, how do we say this? I want to be proper with this. I don't know. He just basically called them wussies with a P. All the different wrestlers.
I'm sorry, Gary. Somebody major in the group just got done listening to the Raw review, and they made a nice little joke about your robot voice.
Oh, did they? Did they call me?
Yeah, I really scrambled robot voice. Enjoyed listening. Voice now normal. Talk to Gary about. Oh, my voice cut off again. Smiley face.
Hopefully it's better now. Are we better now?
Yes, we're doing
okay.
Much better.
It was,
I think Skype just was mean to you.
Exactly. Skype is a bully, and I'm going to talk to the Be a Star program. Hopefully,
talk
Stephanie
to Microsoft.
McMahon.
Tell them,
No, I'm talking to Stephanie McMahon. She's going to get them on the phone for me. She's got to, help me be a star.
She's going to emasculate Bill Gates for you.
Exactly. Be a
I'd
star.
watch that promo in a heartbeat, I tell you. I really would.
So I'm okay. I apologize for everybody listening to the Raw review, and I had robot voice. It's okay. It happens. But what was it on? Conor McGregor, basically, calling out the WWE roster. What do you think, Sean? I mean, I guess this could have been something that was in the works for WWE, or this is just something where, let's be honest, a lot of the UFC does. They don't really care for the wrestlers.
We've seen Dana do this. We've seen other wrestlers do this. Dana got a lot of flack as well when he did it. So the wrestlers were not happy about this, of course, as well. It's so weird because, you get people that respond to this, and you obviously know that Connor is just being a douche to be a douche, and he's working people and doing that because he knows it'll get wrestling fans riled up, and it'll get them to maybe watch the next match he's in so that they root for him to lose. And he's being smart about it, just like Dana was being smart about it, just like other MMA fighters. Chael Sonnen did this as well. I mean, the thing is, I'm on one of those that I think a lot of people get mad at the wrestlers for responding. And I see it as, why do people, that's their craft. I mean, they're passionate about what they do, and they don't like the fact that somebody comes and blasts what they do. And, as a former wrestler myself, I hate that. Like, I don't like it when somebody who doesn't even know anything goes around, oh man, it's fake, guys. Like, I think somebody in the group posted today about Colin Cowherd blasting a wrestling fan for whatever, that he had on the show. And it's just, it's that segment of people that feel the need to constantly belittle. And that's fine. But the other people that get mad at the fact that the wrestlers aren't just joking around, and some of them did. I think Jericho did, and I think there was somebody else, I think, that just joked around with it. But why should you be offended if the people that are actually being discussed are offended about what he said?
It's a fair point. I think you could tell from the beginning. I think that was a work, that was something meant to create another thing for UFC and WWE to do. And I read an interesting article that not only the way that Connor phrased it, but the reaction and him going out and finding tweets to retweet and keep the heat on, as it were, might have hurt the business relationship between both. I don't know. I mean, take that for a grain of salt, but hurts the business relationship, hurts the idea that they can build something between the two brands. And I don't know, like, I'm with you. You attack something I love so much, and I'm suddenly not a big fan of you. So, it is what it is, I guess. And at the same time, I hope he gets his ass beat.
I love it. I love what Ric Flair kind of talked about it. He was mentioning a few wrestlers that he felt like Conor McGregor wouldn't have a very easy time with, and of course Brock Lesnar was one of them. I'm trying to think of the third one. One of them was Dolph Ziggler, which is very interesting. I thought that was kind of funny because not a huge guy, but I guess he brings some good points.
He is an amateur. He had broke the record at Kent State and all that.
Yep. So he said that Conor McGregor would have a hard time because Dolph Ziggler could time it or not. So very interesting, and I think it's kind of cool that these guys are not afraid to step up and protect their own business and say, hey, this is where we're from. Say what you want about it, but we love it. This is us, and I get it. This has been a whole contingent for a long time now. UFC fans, of course, look down on wrestling fans, and wrestling fans, I don't know if they really look down on UFC, but they don't pay. I say that because there's a lot of UFC fans in the world of wrestling. I think that both universes do mix, but there are wrestling fans that don't follow MMA at all. Mm-hmm. So I think the ones that don't kind of look at it and just kind of blow it off. So I kind of at times feel like UFC fans kind of take offense to wrestling. I don't know what it is. I just kind of have that kind of feeling at times. So when I get where if you're a Ultimate Fighter or you're an MMA fighter, you kind of look at it as, look, I'm in this for real. I'm getting my face pounded in. I'm dealing with real injuries. Whereas WWE, they have real injuries all the time. And we were talking about Shelton Benjamin, a guy who can't even show up on TV because he's got a torn rotator cuff that he didn't even know about. Why? He's used to being beat up all the time. He's used to being injured. All those guys on the WWE roster are used to being injured. So I just don't think they get enough credit. And of course, it's just titter tatter. You're going to get this in all sorts of sports. If you're not an NFL fan, you're a Australian rules football fan, and you're pissed because you think one's a sucky sport, and one's a great sport. It's that whole rugby versus the NFL thing. But Conor McGregor, I mean, we'll see. Maybe he'll change his tune. Maybe some money will change it for him. Let's talk about. Yeah, I think that's really going to be the case. Brock Lesnar, same thing. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on and talk about something else that's kind of cool. I know all of you out there listening watch the network, and maybe some of you don't have the network, but I think a majority of people listening do because, it's just becoming more and more of a great product. We're getting some old stuff coming to the network, and this is really cool stuff because we have the NWA getting some more of their stuff back on, and that's really cool. Happy about that. We're also getting Saturday at 6:05 coming on as well. So that's a couple of things that I love. I'm glad that they're bringing some of that NWA stuff over and really using it on the WWE network. Because let's be honest, they haven't added a lot of new old stuff, so this is really cool.
Yeah, there's still a lot of older shows from the WWE that they could add. Like they're missing older superstars still, which is shocking because Superstars used to be their A show for many, many years. I'm glad to see more NWA stuff. Obviously, Saturday at 6:05 hopefully means that someday we'll get WCW Saturday Night on there because I love watching old episodes of the Mothership. Let me tell you what, that's a quality hour programming. But yeah, there's so many shows out there they can add, and slowly, of course, they're gonna have to roll it out. But the more the better, and the more the merrier.
Yeah, the thing is, I can't complain about this at all because having the 6:05 shows, that's awesome. I've been wanting those. Some of these the WCW Saturday nights, especially once you have Nitro, you kind of need them to lead into the next Nitro. So it's kind of weird that they didn't put those out, or they haven't put those out yet either. I mean, it's good that they actually completed the whole Nitro set, so now you can go back and watch those with every pay-per-view as well. So that helps. But yeah, they have a lot of content still, and they did promote it on Raw, 6,000 hours of content. So, I mean, they still have the 04 to 06 SmackDowns they've been put on. They have all the Raws, just no SmackDowns. So
yeah, I mean, it's just nice to have all that content, because not only are you getting an opportunity to learn history, but you're also getting an opportunity to relive some of your favorite memories. And let's be honest, I mean, some things you hear about people talking about and you're thinking, man, do I remember that or do I not? And then you can have the chance just to get on your phone, go get on your computer, whatever. If you have a gaming device, you can get on it very easily, look on the network, and there it is in front of you. You can watch it. Sure, some things are on YouTube, but not everything's on YouTube, and not everything is as good quality as you have on the network. So I'm glad they're allowing us to have more of this great collection of great, old nostalgic wrestling. It's just nice, and I'm enjoying it. Something else that WWE is doing that's kind of cool. It's a great partnership, if you ask me, for them and for fans alone. They are partnering up with Loot Crate, and they've done this before, but now they're going to have a bi-monthly Loot Crate called Slam Crate. For all you wrestling fans that love WWE, you'll get a chance to get merchandise that's exclusive to Loot Crate. So it's going to be things that maybe you want to, subscribe to just because you're a collector. This is the only place you're going to find some of this stuff. They're going to have other WWE licensed merchandise for you guys, like T-shirts and other great things. I think this is great. I mean, I know a lot of people who subscribe to Loot Crate. They love it. And if you're a wrestling fan, especially if you're a WWE fan, I think this is something that's going to must-have. Paul, do you think?
Yeah, I'm highly considering doing this. I know Loot Crate can get a little expensive sometimes, but WWE makes so much merchandise that this is a slam dunk. Really, they make T-shirts, they have action figures, they have DVDs, they have all these things that they make, and hopefully, the cool thing about Loot Crate is always the pop figure that you get, and maybe Slam Crate makes a whole new line for WWE.
I mean, it's really cool that they're doing this. For people and it also makes it a bit more affordable because most of the Loot Crates are monthly, so you don't have to put as much money into it as you would if it was a monthly thing, and also WWE doesn't have to put in as much content either, but hopefully it'll become such a big thing that they do decide to make it a monthly thing, and it becomes the subscription thing that you get, and you're like, oh man, I'm excited to have this. And I just don't want to start with the pop figures, because I know if I get one, I'm going to want more than one, and then I'm going to just keep wanting them. So I had to stop myself with the amiibo. I just have my Pikachu one that stares at me while we watch the show. But, that's it. Because I said if I start with him and I start getting the other ones, I'm going to have like 20 by the time. That's $13 a pop is not cheap.
No, it's true. Very true. I mean, I have a very small pop collection, and there's still lines I want to get, but my 4 that I have right now are I'm good with. So.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is just really good news if you're a collector, and it's also really good news if you're just a WWE fan in general, because, there are so many times you think, oh, man, I'd like to have this, I'll have that, but, I just don't have time to go to the store, or I don't want to order so much at one time. This is just a great way to get surprised and just feel like you're paying a flat rate, and the next thing you know, you're getting open Christmas gifts in a way. This is so awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it and seeing what kind of stuff actually comes in the mail. I think all of us here, talked about Bootios enough. I mean, we even saw him having a little bit of a snack on Raw. Do you think you guys will be getting a box of Bootios in the near future? I've definitely considered it, but I think the closest one to me at this time is a little bit down the road. I think Irving, for me, Paul, is as close as I can get to an FYE.
There used to be an FYE in Collin Creek for a long time. I don't know if it's still there. Just
is
because
there not one in the Galleria anymore?
I don't know. I haven't been to the Galleria in a very long time. The Galleria doesn't even exist anymore. I think it got shut down.
What?
Yeah. And Collin Creek hasn't been doing well. And if you're local to Dallas, you know what we're talking about. If you're not, then you're completely lost. The Galleria's a mall out in Collin Creek Mall is a mall out in Plano. Just to give you a heads up, if you need some relation.
Yeah. I've heard that they were a little bit on the ropes for a little while. So, yeah. But in relation to FYE, where I'm trying to find one, I think I looked up and Irving Mall is the closest one to me personally. But are you guys considering getting a box?
I want to. 24 or $25 plus tax is a little much for cereal, if you ask me. But if you get the shirt, then that's a nice bonus. But I desperately want to try it.
Me too. I'm the same way. And Sean, would it be nice if one morning your daughter wakes up to go to school and you're like, "Hey, have your bootios."
Throw the catchphrase at her. She likes saying booty still, doesn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, she does say that still. It's I don't know. I mean, we already. I guess she could have some. It's basically Lucky Charms and Cheerios.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Except booty.
Right. Exactly.
No cereal does that.
Oh man,
I'm not buying it myself.
So maybe what I'll do.
Even the $12 price, I think, is a little expensive. It's still cereal at the end of the day.
It is. I just want to try to see how good it is. Maybe it's not so great. I don't know.
It can't be any worse than those, like what I see at Walmart, like the cheap ass, like for $2.50 you get like a frozen cereal or like Avenger cereal. It's all the same, pretty much same kind of stuff.
I'm gonna tell you what, man. Don't sell yourself short on those $2.50 cereals. There are some of them are actually pretty delicious.
Oh
Their home ripoff is amazing.
I just buy the multi-meal cereals. I have the multi-meal, like I think it's like s'mores and Fruit Loops. So those are actually pretty good. Yeah. And they come in big bags, so you have a lot for the price you pay.
The Frosted Mini Wheat ripoff is amazing.
Yes.
So. But enough cereal talk. I mean, we could go on and on and on about cereal.
You know what? With all were you one of those folks that ate cereal in the dorm? When we had the lunches for the dorms at UNT at night, I would just eat cereal.
Really? That's
how I would spend, instead of eating whatever they gave you at night in like Keller Hall or whatever. I would eat cereal. So,
oh man, I was a Keller Hall fan, but that was because of of course, Sean's former roommate in college. Kevin loved to go places. That was one of his favorite places, just to go, get out, not stay in the room. So I spent a lot of nights at Keller Hall. Trust me. So it is what it is. We'll do college stories another night, I think. But anyway, we have some great stuff coming your way still in this show, guys. We are going to talk Ring of Honor next. And now this is a cool show because once again, we are getting ready to move on to a big pay-per-view. And so this has actually got some intriguing storylines still going on and continuing. So we'll be right back with Ring of Honor.
All right, Paul.
All right. So Ring of Honor, the taping setting has shifted. Now we're at the 2300 Arena in Philly, which, of course, is the old ECW Arena, which is very quickly... Philly is, of course, Ring of Honor's home base, so that we get a loud crowd, and it's very nice. And we start with a video package. They go over everything that happened in the main event last week with Jay Lethal getting his head shaved, and we get some really nice shots of Lethal sort of... reacting in the mirror in the bathroom of the arena at his head being shaved, and he's very clearly not happy. He's freaking out, and it's a really nice touch, I think.
Yeah, it is, and it's one of those where you're just sitting there thinking, man. Poor Jay Lethal, because he does look so much different. He does, and I'm so used to seeing that, those dreads, and I actually pulled it off pretty well. I mean, but it doesn't look too bad at all. But I do like the way they begin this. To kind of basically start where you ended in a way.
Yeah,
and I love that. I love the continuity here, and it just works. And of course, you'll see more on him. But I like the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, they've done really well these last couple of weeks, continually feeding into the feuds and everything they got going. Mm-hmm. And especially with this main event, which is so hot right now. We're gonna see more of this later. But first up, we have a match. They open with Will Ferrara taking on Jay White. I really enjoyed this match. I think Jay White is such an incredible talent, and you see him grow every show. He's got he's got a very unique way about him in the ring. He's very cocky, he's very sure of himself, and it comes off well. The missile drop kick. There's a drop kick before we get to the finish with the Kiwi Crusher that he nails. That reminds me so much of Okada. It's ridiculous. And Ferrara gets his hits in too, but Jay White ultimately goes over with the Kiwi Crusher. And I enjoyed this match very much, Gary.
I did too. I really did. And I think that, it just showcases what these young guys are doing in Ring of Honor. And, Wyatt's a guy that he's got so much potential. And it showcases in this match. And Ferrara is not a bad wrestler himself.
No.
I mean, he's a great young wrestler. So when I saw this matchup coming my way, when they were doing the whole tail of the tape, I was just thrilled and excited about watching this match, and it ended up being really well done. And I think both guys put some good hard work. And for White to go over, I think it makes a lot of sense. You're still trying to build him up and get that Ring of Honor audience used to him because he is the newest guy. Ferrara's been there for a bit, even though he's not old himself, but it makes sense. And so I was happy with this.
Yeah, they're going somewhere with Jay White here in Ring of Honor. He's undefeated so far. I really feel like he could be up for the TV title at some point before the end of the year, maybe a final battle. But we will obviously have to wait and see there because we got a whole row of segments coming your way. First, we have an ad talking about Shibata's debut at Death Before Dishonor, where they announced that he'll take on Silas Young. We have another video package that follows that shows how Mark Briscoe earned the number one contendership for Bobby Fish's title, which I really like. That's a nice touch, showing how he got the opportunity to beat ACH in a match a couple weeks ago. And then we get to the big fish tank segment, but instead, Mark Briscoe sort of steals Bobby's thunder. He comes out first. He says that the fish tank delivers a communist message, and Bobby is subliminally trying to implant these thoughts into your mind. So Mark says he's going to host his own show called The Chicken Shack. I was dying of laughter, personally. Out comes Bobby Fish. He's in the suit and tie. He's got some badass shades on. He looks like a champion, and you got Mark in the ring in his Briscoe shirt and his beat up pants and the bandana and everything. And Mark, he asks Bobby some real off the wall questions about, whether he prefers chicken or fish on his international flights, or if it's true that he married an Ethiopian lady last time they were in Vegas. And Mark very quickly drops the comedy after all that and says that when they go to Vegas, he's going to walk out the chance. Bobby works the heel role here very nicely. He calls it an impossibility because if Mark wins, he'll still be Jay Briscoe's little brother who walks around with a secondary title because if it's on Mark, it becomes a secondary title. And this irritates him to no end. And Bobby says that so long as the belt is around his waist, it's the number one title in the company. It is a true world television championship. He's the man that ROH needs, and he sends it home with that saying. And I thought this was a really good segment, very solid.
Both these guys do such a good job in this, and I really appreciate them really working this into the show because of the fact that, I think that they needed to find more of a way to get heat into this, and I think they did a great job here. It was pretty quickly escalating as this whole segment went on, and I think that Mark Briscoe, he's just fun. I love the comedy. I was dying as well. The Chicken Shack is very funny. And, of course, you get a guy that's not straight-laced, but pretty close to it, as Bobby Fish. And I like those worlds kind of colliding. And the fact that, Bobby Fish is really just kind of slowly and methodically going through this. And at the end of the day, he accomplishes his goal is to frustrate Mark Briscoe. That's completely cool. I love the thought process of him, saying that, basically, if anybody else holds the title in the locker room, they're going to lower what the title status is. That's completely heel. It's completely great. And you know what? Let's be honest. Not enough heels use it today.
Yeah.
There's not enough that do that. And I love that. He's doing such an awesome job. So overall, this is great. This is a good segment. I mean, I think it's definitely worth sitting through. A lot of people would say, talk. But trust me, it's good.
Yeah, there's a lot of substance in here to take away as they build up for their match in Death Before Dishonor for that TV title. And when you have two of the most rock-solid guys in the company getting ready for a big match at one of your larger shows of the year, you're in for something special, and I can't wait to see it personally.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. A quick package sends us to our next commercial with the Addiction talking about how they're going to take care of business when it comes to War Machine and the Motor City Machine Guns, who have sort of been vying for the challenge for the belts. And then we lead into our main event. ROH World Title on the line as Jay Lethal defends against Colt Cabana. This was a really, really good match. It works the story into everything well, as, we had the interference back at Global Wars that kept Colt Cabana from winning the championship. Security surrounding the ring. Earlier in the show, Nigel mentioned on commentary that if anyone interferes, they'll be suspended for 6 months without pay. And the fans in Philly are super hyped for this. They're chanting for everybody as they're coming down to the ring. It's so easy to get a reaction, and Lethal is rocking that bald look well, let me tell you. And every time he rubs his head in this match, he looks a little unhinged. And it's a really, really nice little subtle touch from the world champ. And we go to commercial after the entrances, and the match gets underway, and it's great. They build it up, lots of methodical holds. Lethal ends up winning with the 2 lethal injections is what it takes to put Colt away for him to retain. And as well as they did with taking commercials when they did, I felt like still at the end we didn't get all the match. And there's a really good match of the year candidate in here somewhere amongst the commercial break cuts.
Yeah, he did kind of mess things up a little bit. I agree, and I think it gave us a chance to kind of see a glimpse into what it could have been, but at the same point, it's not complete. So I love these two guys. I think the world of Jay Lethal, of course, but Colt Cabana is just fun. He's a guy that I've been getting used to seeing in the ring more and more. I don't know his whole career. I don't know everything he's done. I've seen him before, but just not real versed in Colt Cabana wrestling. But I'm enjoying him every time I see him against Jay Lethal. I know that these guys do a great job together. So it was kind of disappointing not to get to see the full match, and for those commercials to kind of interrupt that, it was kind of a bummer. At the end of the day, though, we get what we're supposed to get, and that is, of course, Jay Lethal finding a way to beat Colt Cabana. Colt Cabana, of course, respectfully, does the whole, slaps the hand of Jay Lethal and all that, and then gets out of the ring. It just goes on his own way. But you kind of have, I love the fact that you have the emotions in it because you feel bad for Colt Cabana in this because you can see all the hard work he's putting into it. But at the end of the day, you just can't get it done. Whereas Jay Lethal feels bad, but he felt bad because, their original match was messed up. Now I think he feels redeemed. He helped Colt Cabana get his actual match in. But now the next thing, and that is Adam Cole. And I loved the way that they did this because it really showed that Jay Lethal would do anything to face Adam Cole, even getting on his knees in front of Nigel at the end of this whole thing. That showed a lot to me. That showed the man this guy wants, that he really wants to face Adam Cole. And I kind of look at Adam Cole and I'm like, boy, are you the smartest guy in the world for you to get Jay Lethal to beg to have the match with you? Boy, you must be.
Yeah, Adam Cole is so great in this promo. So is Jay Lethal, and Nigel holds up his end of the bargain too. But Cole comes out and is just throwing whatever he can at Jay and Nigel to get under the skin, to get them to make the match, to lift the band that Nigel created a couple weeks ago on Ring of Honor television. And it works, obviously. He says there's a conspiracy against him between Jay and Nigel to keep him out of the title picture. He says to Lethal that his reign doesn't matter if he doesn't beat Cole, which is kind of true because Cole's the other big main eventer that we got here. And then Cole says that everybody in the locker room, including himself, behind Jay's back, call him a little bitch. And Lethal is just, he's livid at that point. It's so good. And then, he gets on his knees and he begs Nigel, and you got make the match chance, and everybody wants it. So Nigel finally reluctantly gives in. He takes that little pause, and it's so, so good. This whole episode of Ring of Honor is great, and it's totally worth your time. Just like these last two have been. It's been a fun, wild ride this whole way through. And hats off to Ring of Honor for finally getting their television back on pace after all the crossover stuff with New Japan that they've been showing earlier in the year. And then, very quickly before the show goes off the air, Kevin Kelly says the tag titles are going to be on the line next week. So big deal there. And I'm so into this feud, Gary. I'm so.
Oh, man. This is awesome. I mean, I want to, kind of, second your thoughts on Ring of Honor TV. So many great shows lately. I mean, it has been amazing to see that. I love Ring of Honor's wrestling. I love what they can do. But in the past, there have been issues. We've had some, shows that really meant nothing. Then you go into a show that meant everything. Then you'd go into a show that meant kind of something, and then you'd get back. So it was always up, down, and sideways. You never got the complete package. I feel like Ring of Honor in the last 3 weeks at least have done a complete job of covering their bases of all their titles, all their feuds. Sure, not all the feuds are highlighted in one episode, but the next one they may be, kind of like in this one, they were highlighting the heavyweight championship. They were highlighting the TV title. And, of course, next week, guess what's getting highlighted? The tag titles. That's cool. That means a lot, and I really respect what Ring of Honor is doing. I mean, just all across the board, excellent stuff. And, this is the kind of stuff you need to get people to buy pay-per-views. And, man, it makes you want to go and buy Death to Dishonor, So, I mean, I'm very happy, very thrilled,
I'm super pumped for this show. The 19th can't get here soon enough.
Oof.
And like I said, if you live in me and Gary's neck of the woods in Arlington, they're going to come here in November to do the first part of the Survival of the Fittest tournament to crown the number one contender for the championship at Final Battle. So that's kind of cool. And I'll be there front row.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
definitely. It's cool stuff, man. So. Yeah, that's Ring of Honor. Definitely hope, you guys are following Ring of Honor. If you're not, you're missing out on a lot of great stuff right now. So go check it out. Well, that pretty much completes our show for the most part. Just want to let everybody know once again, if you didn't, get a chance to hear me at the beginning of the show, of course, go find all our action that we've had this past week, and of course, what's going on in the show that's coming up Thursday night live on Spreaker.com. You can catch part 2 of this show. We're going to have a lot involved in that. Not only will we have all the big news topics we'll be talking about in the world of wrestling, but we're also talking NXT. We'll be jumping into TNA, and of course, I'm sure more Broken Matt Hardy stuff is going to be taking place. Probably Rosemary as well. So I can't wait to get into all that. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff on that show to talk about. And of course, we'll be crowning a Superstar of the Week. So you don't want to miss anything out of that show. Plus, go check out our Raw review we did earlier tonight. And of course, by the time you're listening to this, you may have already, got a chance to hear some of those shows, but we'll also be doing SmackDown Live. That review will also be out there for you guys on Wednesday morning. But besides that, go check out the W2M Network. That's right. Lots of great shows besides our show. You can go find all the great action in the world of sports. We also have video games, entertainment, everything you want to find. The W2M Network pretty much has it. But Sean, do you want to give us the lowdown on what's going on this week on the W2M Network?
Well, Jowers Court just gave me their newest episode, and they actually did a couple of fun things. They have a sort of fantasy match that they do. Well, they did alternate commentary on Great American Bash, Flair versus Savage from Great American Bash 95. So that was a little fun to listen to. And they also reviewed the first episode of Nitro as well, and taught some King of the Ring like we did last week. We do have 2 episodes that came out last week as well with different stuff, so of course you want to listen to that. And we'll be doing more G1 on the next night on tomorrow, and we'll have to figure out where we want to do that one show that's kind of in the balance before you get to the big 3 at the end. But yeah, just video game shows pretty much Wednesday nights automatic now because every other night's freaking taken up at this point. And and yeah, so we're doing football, college football, the MAC, and what's the other Mountain West, right here after we get done with this, and yeah, then we'll be doing NFC South on Thursday after we get done with day 2 there. So getting close to that season, Gary. Look, they canceled the Hall of Fame game because stupid. Somebody doesn't know how to paint correctly. So, now we got to wait till Thursday for the first football.
I know. It's a shame, but you know what? I mean, I'm looking forward to it nonetheless. And I was thinking about this. Imagine the world of wrestling. What if they did this? What if before SummerSlam they found out that the ring ropes were too slippery? and that they couldn't change him fast enough, so they had to cancel SummerSlam. I mean, my God. Even an episode of SmackDown Live, people would be pissed. I don't care if you're giving their money back, but it is what it is, and I feel bad for the Hall of Fame because technically it's their fault. That has nothing to do with the NFL. So they may be getting a reprimand. We'll see.
How fired is that paint guy, though? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, he is so canned.
yeah,
And probably
yeah.
sued. It wouldn't surprise me if someone didn't sue him. So it is what it is. But I mean, hey, football season's here. I can't wait. I am thrilled about it. So we'll get into more talk about that as the season gets closer, guys. But yeah, I mean, we appreciate everybody coming to check this out this week. Once again, I mean, you guys are awesome. Go rate and review if you haven't already. It helps us out. We appreciate all of the different comments you guys already done. But go, of course, tell a friend. We always appreciate word of mouth. It always helps us too. So, but anyway, until next time, guys. For me, for Paul, for Sean, if you're not living life to the max,
Not living life at all.
You know it.
Please.
Later.